Hey. Alright, take two. I practiced on my class at this period. Alright, tomorrow, composite functions. This is a little circle, it's not multiplication. This reads F composed with G. So, and the variable is X. Basically, we plug in something into G first, get the output of G, running out of battery. I plug into G, I get the output, and that output is now my input for F. This can be written like this. See how my input for F is G of X, that's the output. So I plug in X into G, do that, G spits out, and then that's my input into F. I can also do the other way. This is G composed with F. So here I'm going to do F first, plug into F, F spits out. Now my output of F is now my input in for G. Notice my input for G is F of X, which is an output. Okay? Okay? Here's F of X is X squared, G of X is X plus 4. If I want to do F composed with G of, let's say, 3, that's the same thing as G of 3. Okay, I'm doing G first. I plug in 3 plus 4 equals 7. This output is now my input. So basically, so 7 squared equals 49. Okay? I'm just going to check on my battery. I think it's dying on me. Still filming good. Okay? Alright. Now let's do just the opposite. G composed with F. We're going to do, obviously, F first. That's G, and we'll do 3, okay? Again. So we're going to plug in 3, and the output of, we'll do F. So let's plug in 3 here. Okay? The output of F is my input for G. 3 squared is 9. So that's F of 3. So I'm plugging in 9 here. And 9 plus 4, 13. Okay, so that's with numbers. Now let's talk about writing a composite function just with the algebra. Okay, let's do G of F. Let's rather do F composed with, do the F of G. F composed with G, okay? Alright, so basically, that's the same as this. So this is what normally F what you plug in for X, but here, what do I put in for X? I'm putting the function G. So this right here is what goes into X. So that'll be X plus 4 squared. Okay? If you FOIL that out, it'll be X squared, 2 times 4 times X, plus 8x plus 4 squared is 16. Okay? And that's what that equals. Okay? Alright? The other way, G of F of X. Notice my input for G is F of X. This right here goes into X. This is a little easier. That's just X squared plus 4. Okay? Now the tricky part is domain. You've got 2 considerations. You look at your original function. I'm going to do F composed with G. Okay? Or F, notice my input for F is G of X. First thing, I look at this function here. What's G of X? I've got a rational function. X can't be 1 here. 1 minus 1 is 0. That would be undefined because it's in the denominator. So I start off with X can't be 1. But now I have another concern. I'm concerned about any outputs of G of X that would cause, there would be inputs now that would cause this to be undefined. So you have to look, we look at the original function. I don't want this to be undefined. But then I look at this, the outside function. It would be undefined here if x plus 2, so if x is negative 2, that be undefined. So my output cannot be negative 2. So I got to go back and find out what x values make g of x be negative 2. Okay? So let me redo this. So I set 4 over x minus 1 equal to negative 2. I'll multiply both sides by x minus 1. Okay? And I get 4 equals negative 2x plus 2. You subtract 2 from both sides. And now I have 2 equals negative 2x. And you divide by negative 2. Okay? X equals negative 1. And that's basically what x cannot be. If x is negative 1, we're going to get that negative 2. Right? Okay, so now I add to that list, x can't be negative 1. So it can be all real numbers but that. Because if I plug in negative 1 here, what's negative 1 minus 1? That's 4 over negative 2. That's negative 2. Now, that's my g of x. If I plug that into this, into f of x now, negative 2 plus 2 is 0, and it's undefined. So that's how we figure out, we go first, what can't I have? Just my normal first function, g of x here, the one that we're doing first. Okay, then we look at the second function. Okay, we look at what makes it undefined, if there's anything. Okay, and then, like here, I go back and say, okay, g of x can't equal that. So I set this equal to what? Negative 2, and solve for that other variable. So we figured two things. One by looking here, and then by figuring out what this output can't be by looking what we can't have for an input of x. Okay? That's all I have.